The Last Chance, a story of remembering her worth. Mira had always believed in second chances. And third ones. And fourth. In her mind, love was an endless well of forgiveness, and people, even the ones who hurt you, were just struggling souls needing more time, more understanding. She met Aaron when she was 25, wide-eyed and full of dreams. He was charming, reckless, with a boyish smile that promised adventure. Mira was drawn to him the way oceans are drawn to the moon, irresistibly, helplessly. In the beginning, everything sparkled. Midnight conversations. Coffee dates that turned into long walks. Promises whispered under the stars. Mira had never felt so seen. So chosen. But slowly, little cracks began to appear. The texts came slower. The promises became vague. The priorities shifted. He began missing important days, birthdays, anniversaries, celebrations. There were always reasons, I forgot. Work was crazy. You know how I am. Mira forgave him. Every single time. Love is patient, she reminded herself, folding disappointment into tiny corners of her heart. She believed that loyalty meant staying no matter what. The erosion. Years passed. Their relationship became a series of almosts, almost good enough, almost changing, almost right. Every time he hurt her, she found a new excuse to stay. He's just under a lot of pressure. He loves me deep down, he's just not good at showing it. If I love harder, he'll see. But something dangerous was happening, not to Aaron, but to Mira herself. With each overlooked birthday, with each broken promise, with each moment of silent neglect, a small part of her spirit quietly died. The girl who used to laugh with abandon became careful with her words. The woman who dreamed wildly now second-guessed every wish. The heart that once believed in miracles now braced for disappointment. And Aaron noticed. He noticed that no matter how carelessly he treated her, Mira stayed. He grew comfortable. People grow careless when they think you'll never leave. The first time he lied to her about another woman, Mira cried for hours. But when he came back with flowers and empty apologies, she opened the door. The second time, she didn't even cry. She just told herself, maybe it didn't mean anything. By the third time, she was numb. The moment that changed everything. It wasn't a grand betrayal that finally broke Mira. It wasn't a screaming match or a dramatic goodbye. It was a Tuesday evening. Ordinary, quiet, forgettable. Aaron had promised he would come early for dinner. Mira had cooked his favorite meal, worn the dress he once said made her look like summer. She waited. And waited. Minutes blurred into hours. The candles melted into puddles of wax. Finally, at midnight, he texted. Sorry, babe. Got caught up. Another time? No apology. No real excuse. Just casual disregard, like her time, her effort, her heart, were all disposable. Mira stared at the screen, something inside her going eerily still. For the first time, she didn't feel angry. She didn't feel desperate. She just felt tired. Tired of proving her worth to someone blind to it. Tired of confusing love with sacrifice. Tired of teaching someone how to treat her by allowing him to treat her like an afterthought. She realized something simple but devastating. He's not afraid to lose me. Because I have never shown him that he could. That night, Mira didn't cry. She didn't call. She didn't write a long message explaining her feelings. She simply blocked his number, packed away the memories, and made herself a promise. I will never again have to beg for someone to value me. The aftermath. The days after were hard. grief came in waves, not just for Erin, but for the version of herself she had abandoned for years. There were mornings she woke up reaching for her phone. Nights she almost drafted messages she never sent. Letting go felt like mourning a ghost that never truly existed. But slowly, painfully, beautifully, life began to return. She spent mornings walking alone by the riverside, feeling the sun on her face without needing anyone else's validation. She had coffee dates with herself, savoring each sip like a sacred act of self-respect. She reconnected with old friends, the ones who had quietly faded into the background during her long battle of waiting for someone to change. She remembered how much she loved painting, the way colors blended into unexpected beauty, the way messy strokes still made masterpieces. And one day, she realized she was not missing Erin. She was mourning the years she spent trying to be enough for someone who never had the capacity to recognize her worth. The lesson. Myra's story isn't just hers. It's every soul who has ever loved someone more than they loved themselves. It's every heart who thought patience would fix what respect had already abandoned. The world often tells us that love is sacrifice. But true love never demands the sacrifice of your dignity, your joy, your soul. Myra learned that forgiveness is beautiful, but without boundaries, it becomes self-betrayal. She learned that walking away is sometimes the purest act of love, not for them, but for yourself. She learned that when someone keeps hurting you after you've expressed your pain, they're not ignorant. They're choosing to ignore you. And no amount of waiting will ever teach someone who refuses to learn. Years later, Myra eventually met someone else, not a whirlwind, not a grand explosion, but a steady flame. Someone who showed up when he said he would. Someone who never made her feel like she had to beg for attention or kindness. Someone whose actions didn't need endless explanations. But by then, Myra knew. Her happiness wasn't because of him. It was because she had first learned to stand whole on her own. She had given herself what Erin never could. Respect. Peace. Joy. And that made all the difference. Final words. Never let anyone get comfortable disrespecting you. Never confuse love with endurance. Never believe that being patient with someone's mistreatment is the same as being strong. Sometimes the greatest act of love is walking away, not because you stopped caring, but because you finally started caring about yourself. And once you do, you realize you never lost anything. You gained everything. Yourself. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Don't Give Up. Let's continue exploring life's challenges and insights together.